Rise and shine, family. I have breaking news. I need every man, woman, and child to listen to this. Let's go.
The DNA testing center, I had two guys call in. They work at DNA testing centers. One guy had to quit. One guy still works there. He told me 40% of the children are not the man's child.
40%.
40%. He said 40%.
Somebody call Maury.
It's usually
make DNA testing
it's
mandatory.
It's two scenarios. It's where the woman, the person's getting a DNA test because the woman claims that is their child. Turns out it's not. The other one is where the parent is on a deathbed and makes a confession, or they need a liver transplant, blood transfusion, and the blood type. There's no way that can actually be the father. So then they find out that because of medical reasons. You mean that's not my father? Then the father finds out from that way. He said it took such a toll on him that he could no longer do it because he would be sitting on the phone counseling the men and the grown children who these women falsely accuse. We see it on Maury, we see it on paternity court, but yet we say men need to be held accountable. Why are these women needing all these why does Maury exist with you are not the father? Why does paternity court exist
if DNA testing was mandatory?
Accountable?
Do you know what would happen if DNA testing was mandatory? If they tested all women?
You'd have an
calamity.
My sister told me the other day, Bishop.
It would absolutely be a calamity. Guys, I need you guys to take a moment and just think about this, okay? Now, the statistics are normally 3 out of 10, but this is 4 out of 10, making it 40%. This means out of every 10 people, 4 of them may have the wrong daddy because someone lied. Now, you gotta understand this, family. She named what the father goes through, what the children go through, trying to reconnect and build a relationship with the new father, what the fathers go through losing their child, what the child goes through losing their father. But what she's not naming is the grandparents, the aunts, uncles, cousins. The whole family is being deceived. This is not a woman's issue. Whenever we talk about this, it's always like, okay, well, we don't want to offend women when we ask for a DNA test. Yo, this has nothing to do with them, but everything to do with your heritage as a man. They said something here that was key. They'll never do DNA testing for everyone. So what does that mean? Men, you have to be responsible enough to do this on your own. Okay, you cannot leave it up to them. You have to understand something. Like the gentleman said here, it'll be a calamity. He's absolutely telling the truth. I always say, imagine history. Look back through all of history. Okay, if we take 10 of us right now and 4 of them, it's not our daddies, that means 4 of them is not our grandfathers either, right? And this happens all the way down the line. This means if you're a male or a female, so you ladies may look at it and say, well, he's just trying to call out women. No. Ladies, any person, 4 out of 10, your daddy may not be your daddy either. They're not just lying on boys' daddies. They're lying on anybody. Do you understand? They do this to avoid shame. The shame that they were sleeping with somebody else, and they're willing to mess up the whole family lineage just to cover it up. And you telling me this is okay? That a child can go thinking another man is their father, trying to find themselves in that man, trying to reflect after them, wanting to see themselves in that man. The father living through his child, believing that he sees features of himself in his child. The grandparents believe in this. Men dying, leaving their inheritance to a child that's not theirs. Living their whole life believing the child is theirs. Children raised their whole life believing the father's there. Y'all think that's okay because they have a mother? Y'all think that? I'm going to tell you guys, it's truly sad. And men, you got to get to a point to where you don't need anybody else to care about this. You should care enough about this to do the things that need to be done. So if the government were to say, I'm going to test all babies, it would be calamity. But what if all men right now say, you know what? I'm about to do this test, man, because I need to know. Because every child deserves the right to know who their father is. You may say, I don't want to upset nothing. I don't want to upset my ex or my wife or whatever the case may be, or even my child. But the truth needs to be known, family. And until we all search for that truth without any bias, we won't have that truth. And yeah, it could lead to us being sad, heartbroken, all this stuff. But at least these children will get their fathers, and we'll be breaking the cycle, family. Because there's a cycle of lies that is keeping these children away from their fathers, stealing their birthrights with these lying women. Because that's the only reason that this paternity problem is happening, because of women not being honest about who they were sleeping with. And they can say, this points directly at me, so clean it up. We wouldn't even have this problem. It's like you have to tiptoe around offending them to say something that's a problem for literally all of us. And it could be their problem. How many times you see a woman in paternity court lie and say another man's the father, but they themselves have paternity issues and don't know their father? This means they'll repeat this shit even if it happened to them. But they want to put the focus on the men who won't be there for their children. What about all the men who are there for their children and it may not even be their children? Yo, we got to take the responsibility and get this done. If you go further back in time, it's probably worse than 40%, guys. Let's be real, because without this test, without knowledge of this test, you got to think they'd lie even more. You got to think some women are not going to lie like that because they know you could just test it. And it makes no sense for us to be deceived in a frame of life where we can actually go get it tested. It makes no sense that we're still being deceived when we can just go take a test. It makes no sense. Care more about your legacy and your heritage. She asked the question though, why do you think these shows like Maury exist? Why do you think these shows like Judge Lauren exist? To brainwash you? They're called programming. You guys want to know why they call it a program? Because they're literally messing with your mind. See, when you're a child, when you're young, you watch these shows, okay? The man comes out to booze. They boo every man that slept with the woman. Okay, but they don't boo the woman who let all those men into her. The reason the confusion is about this baby is because the woman let all those men into her. But she can challenge this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, but they'll boo them all, even if they're not the fathers. And then when they're not the fathers, they try and shame them into taking care of those children that is not their responsibility. It's almost like the search for their father discontinues because he wasn't the father. No, continue looking for the father because that's the right thing to do. But they'll let the woman run off the stage. They'll chase her down, telling her everything's going to be okay. Let's find you a real father. And they never actually hold this woman accountable. Why do you think they're doing that? Because they're programming you. When I was a child and I sit there and watch that show, I thought men must be bad. Look at how we are. We're horrible. When you don't have the information, we perish for lack of knowledge, family. So when you don't have the necessary information, it's easy for you to be deceived. It's easy for you to be programmed. But now we're adults and we can see the problems in our communities from that type of stuff. Are we going to take a stand or not? Because we know the shows are not going to hold them accountable because they're programming you so it will be okay. So men will accept this and women can get away with it. You got to understand this, guys. It's meant to be this way. They're trying to steal your birthright and separate you from your children. And they're using the women to bridge that. They're crazy enough to steal from their own children their father. They're crazy enough to do it. So men, you can't listen to nothing they say, no argument they give. Take it upon yourself and test your child. Once a woman says you are the father, you don't need her permission at all. That's giving you the authority right there because you are the father. You know that seed lives inside of you, right? You know that child has been with you your whole life, right? And you passed it on. That sperm cell is swimming, family. It's alive. That egg rolls down. It's not alive. We are housed in that egg, and the mother nurtures us to life, but that father gives us life. We are his baby. We are his child. And we're being stolen from our fathers because a woman don't want to tell the truth about who else she was sleeping with, or she want a different man, or whatever the case may be. We don't care why. We just want our children, yo. We want our legacies. 100 years down the road, that child won't be your child, but you spent your life taking care of him. You think that's okay? The love that you have for this child, and it ain't really your child, you think that's okay? Men, and stay out of the way. When you realize a child is not yours, if you're going to help the child, help them find their father. If you guys agree that every child needs to know at least who their father is, even if it's for medical reasons, you can't use this excuse that he's a piece of shit. You can't use this excuse that he's this or that. If it's his father, it's simply the truth. And what we are trying to do is say, because of his character, because of what he's doing at the time, because of his record, because of something that he did, or because of who he is, this is going to give us a right to lie to a child about who their father is, to lie about the truth. If y'all believe in God, there's never a reason to lie. But what have we done with this world? What has lies and illusions done with this world? If we were to try for 1 second to uncover the lies, it would be absolute chaos. But doesn't that mean that it's chaos now? And we're just blind to it? You wondering why there's no unity in our communities? You wondering why there's no foundational principles? This is why. And if we're going to correct it, we got to take on that mantle and responsibility to change these things. We can't expect the government to do it. So we got to stop saying, government, why don't you sanction all paternity tests for all men? No, men. If you care about your legacy, okay? If you care about your mother and father, their legacy that they passed to you and the one that you're passing on, if you care about that, your ancestors at all, get the test. Get the test, family. I'm telling you, do not let them destroy your heritage with their lies. Trust them or not, get the test because it's mandatory and it's for the child. Listen, family, it is not about just us. Erase the mother and father for a moment, okay? When the mother is lying to a child about who their father is, the child often has an estranged relationship with their family, the family they grow up in, the family they believe is their own. That family normally teases them, ostracizes them because of their features. They'll tease that child about how they don't look like that man. And the child goes through life feeling depressed and unable to truly tap in. They want to see their father in themselves. You understand? So you have to imagine all of the estranged relationships between a father and the child because of the doubt. How the father will sit there and be a half-assed father because he refuses to be responsible and just get the test. He don't want to hurt the child's feelings. So in favor of the child's feelings, will also help in keeping them from the truth. When it should always be about the truth. Forget anybody's feelings, forget anybody's responsibility or accountability to what's going on. If we're gonna all work together, because it takes a village to raise a child, right? If we're gonna all work together, I think we should all be focused on simply truth, because that is non-biased. It's not trying to hold anybody personally accountable. It's trying to discover the truth so that the child has that truth, which is needed. Now, if you guys say you love God and you believe God is truth and you want to see God, don't you always want to see God? Or do y'all want to shove God up under the rug whenever you want to lie? Those lies are leading to damaging our whole community, our whole legacies, and we still out here just letting it happen. Men, we say that we are leaders. When are we going to truly lead and take it upon ourselves to test our own children? You could just go buy a home DNA kit. It's not that difficult. We just have to be willing to do this regardless of the potential heartbreak. But it's for the child so they can find their father. Who wants to grow all the way old and die never knowing who their true father was? Many of us got upset because we got taught to believe in Santa Claus or religion. We never thought we was being lied to about real shit, like who your daddy is. We want to believe that that's really our father, our grandfather. We want to believe that, family. That's daughter or son. This is not just a man problem. So guys, let's stop complaining about the world we live in, and please understand that we are creating the world we live in. So let's take charge and restructure this world so that every child can have their father. If you are deemed the father, do what must be done. No ifs, ands, or buts, family. Men, keep your eyes and ears open. Look in the comments. Any woman who's breezing over this like it's not a problem, trying to bash men, trying to say that I'm bashing women, instead of actually acknowledging the truth that these children need their fathers, don't trust a word they say and don't deal with them. When the conversation comes up, when you hear them write this off like it's not a huge issue, don't deal with them. And if you got children with any one of these women who are commenting like this and talking like this, you better test your children. I'm telling you now. Ladies, we're asking for your help. If you know, because I know y'all have bonds with each other. If you know a woman was messing around with multiple people and she's not being honest about it and she's having a child, it takes a village. Please help that child find their father by being honest and coming clean. Men, if you know you were sleeping with a woman around the time she got pregnant, all that discretion stuff goes out the window. I'm not saying go out and embarrass the girl, because that could be your future child's mother. But I'm saying you should go to her and whatever man she's trying to pin this on and let them know the truth. Okay? I don't care if they want to call it messy or not. Let them try to shame you out of it if they want to. But do what must be done regardless of what anybody says, because we must stop at nothing to get these children their fathers. Again, any woman trying to look over this and not acknowledge it like it's a real problem, know that they are an agent, okay? Because they were a child before they were ever a woman or a mother. And if this doesn't matter to them, this means they're saying they don't care if their father is really their father or their grandfather is their father, but they want an inheritance from him. They expecting this man to do something for them when they need him. They're calling him when they're in trouble, or they'll bash him for not being there, or they'll call him a piece of shit regardless, even if he is there. But they're not concerned about if he's really the father. These simple-minded people think that you don't really need your father, that it's not that important. Mothers, baby, fathers, maybe, like it's okay. That's what they think. You gonna let what they think create the world, or you gonna let what you think create the world? I'm asking you as men, you say you're leaders, right? If this is a problem, this is now a problem that men could correct. No more do we have to be lied to. It makes no sense that not only will we not go back and retrack our religions, we won't even check and see if we're actually the father, or if our father's actually the father. We're afraid to uncover a lie. The truth is right there, and all you got to do is research, but you will keep believing in a damn lie. That is why the world is messed up. Until men say, you know what, I'm going to be aware of the moment. We perish for lack of knowledge, so no matter what it takes, I'm going to seek knowledge no matter what the consequence is. Because knowledge and truth will set you free. And if we want freedom, then we must stop at nothing to get the truth, family. Peace.